hears he needs to sit down. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our December meeting of the Tobacco Settlement Agreement Fund Oversight Committee. Like to begin, Representative King, hate to surprise you, but would you mind leading us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Yes.
Please join me in a moment of prayer. Dear God, we stop for just a moment before you as we start today's business. Just thanking you for the opportunity and the ability to be here today. We ask that you be with us as we make decisions and go over the decisions that are made on behalf of all of our constituents. Thank you for Jesus being the reason for this season, and help us to always keep pleasing you and serving Jesus in mind as we make decisions. In his name, amen.
Amen. Ask everyone please stand, and Representative King will lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ask the secretary to please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Boswell. Here. Senator Deneen. Here. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Webb. Representative Brown. Representative King.
Present.
Representative Pratt. Here. Representative Reed.
Here.
Representative Rorks. Senator Mays Bledsoe, co-chair. Representative Dossett, chairman.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to approval of our October 12th, 2023 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. None opposed. Minutes are passed. Now we'll move on to our presentation, and I'm sorry to say we had a special guest that was going to be here today, and Wayne Hunt, who serves on our Ag Development Board and the Ag Finance Corporation, was unable to make it. He is under the weather at home, and we will have him here as we get into the interim in 2024. But right now we will begin by having my good friend Brian Lacefield and Bill McCloskey please come to the desk and introduce yourselves and let you do your presentation.
Well, Chairman, committee, floor leader that was with us, it's great to be with you, and appreciate that clarification of the schedule. It has been a challenge the last 3 years rolling in trying to fill Warren Beeler's shoes. Now I've got the task of trying to make up for Wayne not being here as well, Chairman. That may have been a bit of a challenge. And in preparation of that, Bill and I had tried to work on making sure we were briefed to roll through and allow plenty of time. And I do. I'm glad you're planning on having him back on the program. I know you were in for a treat. When Mr. Hunt is working on PowerPoint, you know you're going to be getting an education. So he does have his slides. He will travel, and as soon as he's well, I know he would love to get back in front of this group. I did check in with him this morning. He is feeling much better. Just still hasn't tested negative to be able to travel and come see us. But he did want me to extend his apologies to each of you that he could not make it. He truly was was looking forward to this. We've been talking about it for several months, and wanted to continue to express his gratitude for what the legislator has continued to allow the Ag Development Board to do with the devotion of these funds to agriculture. So thank you on behalf of Wayne. First thing I want to talk about, you all have fairly hot off the press, is our annual report. And I'm always proud to showcase this annual publication that we were able to put together that showcases all of the different programs that are reoccurring and some of our highlighted projects that have been funded throughout the year. And you can see we strive to make it easily consumable, that we kind of have things in a lot of pictures, concise writing, and a good snapshot of what we do. Last year, if you remember, we had the Easter egg picture in there where the one poultry producer down in Christian County was in the 22 copy of the annual report, holding the 21 copy of the annual report that Bill McCloskey had just stuck in his hand right before we made him pose for the picture. This year, the Easter egg would be Cattleman's very own Nikki Whitaker is behind me in the picture there that was caught. And what I thought I was prepared to tell you was going to be at one of our oversight committee hearings, but we had some good photo detectives that figured out this was actually at the Farm Machinery Show, where our meeting will be in February. But we do talk about our oversight committee in here, as well as our board members, and we have Dean Nancy Cox, one of our board members, in attendance here today. So hope you enjoy this, and we will be passing these out along the way. Big thanks to Jesslyn Watson on our team. She is our communications director. She's joining us today. The interns, this is the main project we have our interns working on through the summer. And we had Benjamin Williams and Braden Porter were our two interns this summer. We brought them to a couple of oversight meetings, and they worked hard on this, as well as the communications team at the Department of Agriculture. So a lift from a collective team that put together a good product. It has been a couple of months since we were here last, and Senator Deneen, when he came in, commented on my glasses, and yep, I'm still wearing them. So I did ask my eye doctor Tuesday. I said, what percentage of the cataract surgeries do you do that are the procedure I did? He said, oh, very few. I said, well, it must be, because I have met nobody that has had to wear these glasses as long as I've had to. But the good news is I'm back now to where I can see the distance like I was 18 and still read my phone, Chairman Dossett, like I could before I blew out the candles on my 40th birthday cake. So I think it's been a plus, but it has been a couple of month process on what we're doing. We did have our October Ag Finance and Ag Development meetings that were completed. Then we had our joint meeting down in Hopkinsville in November. Since then, I've had a few different outreach speaking engagements, and some really good chance for outreach to groups we're not always in front of, one of which was the Kentucky Black Farmers Association, and that was a great invitation I was thankful to have and be able to get in front of and present our programs. Following that was down at the Breathitt Diagnostic Center for their advisory council. From my position, I'm on that advisory council, and it's good to see the continued good work of that center, of what they do in Hopkinsville. I've been involved with the Ag Business Association of Kentucky since back in my retail days in the private sector, and always have enjoyed attending their meetings. Todd Griffin, the executive director of Kentucky Retail Federation, does a fantastic job, always putting together a great summit every year. And the November one does focus a little bit more on ag policy and the work that's going to be going on as you all are heading into session starting next month. And I will never forget my first time I attended that meeting, probably 15 years ago. I was a new employee chairman at Agrichem and Hopkinsville Elevator, and was sent to attend this meeting. And two of the featured speakers were my father and Wayne Hunt. And so I was in the audience getting to hear two of my mentors speak. This time it was special. I was the keynote speaker and was able to speak, and we had Wayne sitting on the front row. while Dad wasn't at that meeting, the following, Saturday, I was invited to be the keynote speaker for Western Ag Department's Ag Alumni Brunch. And my father was sitting on the front row there and was able to speak, but also sitting with Dad was former Commissioner Billy Ray Smith. And that to me was a very special opportunity to be able to thank the Ag Commissioner that was working there at the time of House Bill 611 and worked tirelessly to see that 50% of these funds did go to agriculture. So it truly was a circle coming around, and we also had one of our board members, Al Pedigo, in the audience as well. So two great events there. And then I got to join our very own Senator Webb in Greenup County. I had been invited to come and speak to 9 different high schools, FFA leadership from 9 different high schools in eastern Kentucky. 250 students, and they asked me to keynote this. And I asked the promoter, have these students done something wrong? They said, no, why? I said, well, I can think of no reason you should subject these students to 45 minutes of me talking. I said, I'll try to be funny, but I don't know that I can do it. So I thought about what would really be an impactful presentation. And so they ended up giving us an hour and put together a panel of leaders from these communities in eastern Kentucky that were doing things on a statewide or national scale. And it was fantastic. I've shared with you all about traveling international with students and attending these. This was yet again another example of where I get excited about our future and what we're going to see. We had Senator Webb, again, and we know the work she's done. We had one of my former district directors with the Farm Service Agency that serves on a national leadership position within the USDA. We had Jason Isaac is his name. Then we had Tyler Ferguson, who's on Kentucky Farm Bureau State Board. And then we had Kenny Imel, who you all have heard me talk about. Has always been the host farm of our biggest farm-to-table event we have there in Greenup County. And he served on the FSA State Committee with me under the previous administration. And we had 250 students that were engaged. Very rarely do I speak in front of an audience that I don't have at least half the people on their phone. And I'll call myself out. Somebody else talking, I'm probably doing that too. But in this case, Senator Webb, I think you could nod your head there. That it was complete engagement, and they were seeing that each one of these folks could be in these type of positions with just being willing to put in the work. So, Senator Webb, thank you for doing that. The feedback I have gotten has been tremendous from folks that were there and folks that have even heard about it. We've gotten some requests to do this other places, so we may be taking our show on the road for doing that.
It was a little chilly, I must say, too, and those kids were very engaged, and we had the best questions.
Well, thank you for donating your time and your expertise to that group. And if that geography was a challenge, we were there in Greenup County. The following day, I was down in Hopkinsville getting ready for our joint meeting, and then Senator Webb joined us the following day. We had a series of tours in Trigg and Christian County, all showcasing either different ag finance or ag development projects, all focused on markets and value-added products. And we had Senator Webb join us that evening at Casey Jones Distillery and talked to the board members and staff and invited guests that were there, giving us some history and some vision for looking forward with these ag development funds. And so thank you for making that trip across the state and sharing with our group. Then it was time for the Kentucky Farm Bureau's annual meeting. We were back to well above pre-pandemic levels of attendance. Over 2,300 folks from across the state were good. I love that event every year. While it's always great programming, but it's always a great chance to catch folks. You can stand still and literally see folks from across the state. I had a producer from Ballard County that wanted to get a picture, and we grabbed somebody, and I think they were from Greenup County. Senator Webb to take the picture. I thought, well, that sums it up pretty good. We got Kentucky represented literally across the state. Bill and I had a chance to visit every year. Dr. Snell invites us to be guest lecturers for his ag econ class, and we were able to do that. And we had our intern Benjamin Williams was in that class. I had one last speaking engagement for the year down in Hopkinsville on Monday for the Kentucky Ag Development Advocacy Council, their town hall meeting, which was a meeting with so many different partnering agencies across the state, getting producers in one area to hear what so many of our different ag organizations do to work for our producers. So that. Little quick recap of what's been going on. We are in the middle of a transition now as Commissioner Quarles is winding down his term, and the Commissioner-elect Shell is working on bringing in his team. We have had two folks have resigned from our office and have continued on with other positions within state government. So we're happy for those, and we'll be working to backfill those positions. And the commissioner did add 2 positions before he left that are going to allow us to kind of grow with the programming that we've been able to put on in the last few years. All right, anything to add on that, Bill? All right, we'll roll into your packets if you all are good. We start off with our Ag Finance Board meeting schedule. This will be coming up for the 2024 year, the remainder, which there is no more Ag Finance meetings. We had the last one last Friday. We'll have our last Ag Development Board meeting this coming Friday, and here's our list for the following year in 24. Our Ag Finance program continues to exceed historical demand for our participation loans. We had in October we approved 23 loans, 7 under our Ag Infrastructure Program and 16 beginning farm programs. We participated with 2 of our Ag credits and several of these in 6 different community banks. Was $3.6 million approved and participating loans. And while we will go up to 50% on loans not exceeding a $250,000 limit, majority of these projects included a larger amount. We were a smaller percentage. It was a total of $16.2 million in capital investments across the state for the total projects approved. So a great example that $3.6 million invested leveraged to $16 million in total investments. And then the press release following that is behind the table in your board packet, and then you have the schedule for the upcoming 24 Ag Development Board meetings. And then I'll let Bill start with some of the projects that were approved at the October board.
Okay, we'll start on page 8. And this is an update on 9 projects or applications that were approved under the On-Farm Energy Incentives program. We do take applications 3 times a year, so to be eligible in this program, they have to have an evaluation of their proposal by a professional engineer or certified energy manager, and it has to meet it can be purchase of equipment or technology is going to result in energy savings. Like to see the energy savings payback be less than 25 years to be eligible. So you can see the different operations that have been approved. Any questions on the energy program? I'll move over to page 14 on programs recommended for approval. So you can see that the request for programming does decline throughout the year, and then it'll pick up when we get the new master settlement agreement payment in April of 2024. So 3 CAPE applications approved, and as mentioned earlier in presentations, that the county money, about 80 to 85% of the county money gets allocated to the CAPE program. And in our annual report on page 4, it has a breakdown of how the money's allocated. And you can see in this box here, the county allocation for this year was $16,205,661. So then about 85% of that will be invested in the CAPE program that has 11 different investment areas. Moving on, there was one application for dead animal removal in Hardin County, Senator Deneen, and then the youth program, one project in Madison County for $50,000. So it brings the total programming approvals for the October meeting, $439,935. And then moving on to page 15, we've got an amendment by the Harrison County Beef Cattle Association for their youth program. Originally, it was approved for $5,250, so we're requesting an additional $1,900 to bring it to a total of $7,150. And then under the CAPE program, the Dare County Cattlemen Association requests an additional $7,500 to add to their $206,000 previously approved, bring it a total of $213,500. Now, for the programs like the CAPE and the youth program, once they receive the funds, they basically have 1 year to disperse the funds, close out the report, and then send us a closeout report that we review under our compliance section of the office. Now, in the event that they have a waiting list, they can come and request additional funds and amend during that 1 year period. And that's what's happened here with the youth program and the CAPE program. They had a waiting list of producers that they wanted to fund, so they can amend it and request additional funds as long as they stay in that 1 year window. All right, now ready to move into projects. Brian, I think, is going to on page 16.
Well, I'm flipping that one of the things on doing these amended programs, I think it's always good that these counties keep a little of their money available. I talked to them. You never know what request is going to walk through the door with an application, and you hate to have funded everything day one and then not know that. So it's a little more paperwork on both parties, but I think it allows these county councils to have the flexibility of funding projects as they come in. All right, our first project that was funded individual here was to Cornet Enterprises. And one of the programs that we launched in 2023 was our Food Safety and Efficiency Program. We have made a significant investment in our meat processors across the state, over 40 investments with over $7 million to expand capacity, and other investments in other of our processors. And one of the things we want to make sure that they're sustainable. Obviously, the big emphasis first on consumer safety and making sure we are taking care of that, but also the first step of sustainability is remaining in the black and staying in business. So we launched a program to help any producer that wanted to apply for this, that had some type of processing facility, if they wanted to bring in an external consultant to help them, largely thinking of food safety. You have some type of issue and you need help correcting it, we can pay up to 75% of this consultant's cost, up to a total of $5,000. But also, if we want to bring somebody in to help your business be more efficient, would also qualify. To do so, the consultant must be approved by this Food Safety and Efficiency Committee, so we're looking for credentials and experience, but then we allow that flexibility to be able to go out and find who's going to be able to help your business. The Cornets were a great project we did earlier in the year, where they were funded a forgivable loan where they were creating a distribution point for produce, and they earned their debt forgiveness by how many other producers or boxes of produce they're putting through there that are outside of their family's operation. So it's allowed them to help their own operation, but the way to be able to utilize these funds is to be expanding and bringing in more and more processors. One of the challenges with our produce is you may produce a pickup truck load, but that retailer is wanting a semi-truck load. So we're putting together these gathering points where they can put together orders from multiple producers and ship them out as these retailers want those. So they were awarded one of our projects for that for $3,750 in state funds, $2,950 in their investment.
All right, the next projects on page 17 or application is a Gatekeeper Cattle Company. This individual is working on a $32,500 project to expand his direct-to-consumer marketing program. And you can see a cargo trailer, freezer with a freezer storage, and a generator are all part of the request. Now, when the Ag Development Board, Dean Cox and her fellow board members, look at a project that's requesting state money. In this case, they're asking 25% county money, 25% state, and then provide matching dollars. the investment philosophy of the board is to look at a project. What's the producer impact to be eligible for state money, to kind of raise the standard. Although in this case, they supported the county money, but not the state money because of limited producer impact. Just basically one producer, although he did indicate as he grows the business, he may impact other producers by, I guess, reselling their product, which he would be probably in expansion mode, would be eligible to come back. Typically, these projects would apply under the CAPE program, but you're going to be limited up to $5,000. So it does give an option to apply for the county money over and above the CAPE program on bigger projects like this one. So he was approved. The board did approve the county money only for $8,000.
Right on page 18, you all have heard me report earlier this year on another new program that we did in 23 was for our large and food animal veterinarians. We created a new program. While we've always had, since the existence of the Ag Finance program, we've had a loan program to assist in either purchasing equipment, buying into to an existing operation for our veterinarians. We've also learned that the majority of the average of our veterinarians coming out of Auburn or Tuskegee with our reciprocal agreement, still $250,000 in student loan debt. That's not their investment. That's what they still owe when they are finished with their education. So sometimes to these newer vets, or even some that have been practicing 10 years, the last thing they need is more debt. And so created a grant program that leveraged state funds significantly. It's one of the first ones we've done where you're getting a 5-to-1 match on county funds invested. And the reason on that is we want these counties to be the first gatekeeper to know. We don't have a set percentage of an operation, their book of business, that has to go towards this larger food animal. We want to make sure that they're offering this service to the producers in this area, not necessarily telling them how they need to run their business, because obviously, back to my comments earlier, we want you to be efficient, we want you to be profitable, so you're sustainable. But we feel like if they're being checked by the county council, these 9 members of the local county and the community they know. And the other deviation on this one is we've allowed for motorized vehicles. This has been something the ag development has stayed away from up until this program, but we have learned through these focus groups that a lot of our large animal veterinarians, their office is their truck, their mobile vet kit, and you can tie this back to another part of our investment of these ag development dollars is the improvement of livestock handling facilities across the state. In the last 20 years, I think all these veterinarians will tell you, we have seen a dramatic shift of having better equipment on farm to where we can work with the livestock. So we've allowed for the same inclusions of that loan program, but also have let the purchase of these vehicles come in here. And Creek Veterinary Service here in Allen County was recipient of one of these programs. Was a total award of $122,000 that broke down in $50,455 of state funds, $10,000 and $90 in Allen County funds, and $20,000 coming from the veterinarian, Dr. Creek. And this program, just to give you the breakdown on what we've done, and this one again has come from focus groups in 22. Program Evaluation Committee in late 22, board approval in 22, implementation January 1. We have now done nine of these programs across the state, West Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, and Eastern Kentucky, and we have one more currently pending that'll be coming soon before the board. Page 19 is a second one. This one came from Bracken County. This one was a breakdown on a vehicle, the truck vault for the bed, and then also construction on an office area. This Raymer Veterinary Service had a daytime practice that was small animal, companion animal, and moonlighted nights, weekends with their own private business that was specifically for our large and food animals. So I think another good example of this program supporting the vets that are trying to balance what's best economical and then still provide the services to our farmers.
Moving on to page 20, Kentucky State University was approved for $1,359,000 to support their small-scale grant program, and we've talked in the past about how the state, when you look at it regionally, has different needs. When you look at Western Kentucky, you'll notice they utilize, where you got bigger scale, larger scale ag production. You'll see them those type of operations utilizing the Ag Finance Corporation. When you get to Central Kentucky, a lot of full individuals that are working full time and then looking to purchase a farm next to maybe the family farm and utilizing family assets, labor, and equipment. Eastern Kentucky, which is the Appalachian region, which includes 55